How often do people just compliment an anime nowadays without critiquing it first? Everyone has become a critic, and somehow the comments, reviews, and the scores are more important than someone's actual opinion. Don't get me wrong, we need critique to separate the good from the bad, but it's become a rarity to call anything perfect. The truth is, nothing will be technically perfect. There will never be a universal 10 out of 10. But that anime that grabs your attention, pulls you into its world, and has you fully invested is perfect. And as someone who's literally built themselves as a reviewer and critiques pretty much everything, Demon Slayer is one of the few anime that I can call perfect.
優しい目
Is it critically the best anime I've ever seen, void of flaws? No, not at all. But when I watch an episode of Demon Slayer, I'm engaged. And not just like any other anime, but I'm invested in where the story is heading. And of course, past the story is the most obvious aspect, which is the visual art. I don't know why people always use Demon Slayer's animation being amazing as a bad thing towards the show. Like, yes, it is the best part about the anime by far, but that's no easy feat, nor is it the only thing that the anime offers. And on top of that, people will bring up works like Attack on Titan, which is my personal favorite. But it seems that fans are forgetting we don't need an AOT-like plot. Complexity isn't always necessary to having a great anime, and that was never really part of the Demon Slayer appeal. The story is relatively linear. It's about a soldier on a mission to take down the main antagonist behind it all. It even has its own aspects of twists in it and stuff that we still don't know about of our characters' past. But whether it's like AOT or not shouldn't take away from how good the anime is overall. It's an engaging enough story and even some humor that lightens my day. I know the technical definition to perfect is having no flaws, but I think it's time to reinvent the word. Instead of focusing so heavily on what's wrong with an undeniably great anime, it's time to appreciate it for what it is.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
As amazing as Demon Slayer's visual art is, the art in the storytelling is often ignored. Tanjiro is more than another shonen protagonist. He's a kind soul willing to put those broken to rest.
優しい雨に打たれているような感覚。少しも痛くない。苦しくもない。ただ暖かい。こんなにも穏やかな日が来るなんて。
Kindness is difficult to translate into anime. The harsh truth is that the badass trope where a character doesn't care about others and does what they want is more often the more likable characteristic. And that's why when the author represents kindness, I not only respect it, but I think it teaches a great lesson. Like Naruto's kindness despite the village hating him, Deku's kindness despite being branded a loser for most of his life, and again, Tanjiro's kindness in the literal life or death work that is being a Demon Slayer. Now with that being said, characters are not Demon Slayer's strongest point. Zenitsu is annoying to a lot of people, including myself, and a couple of the other characters follow the trope-like aspect rather than having much depth. And speaking of depth, we had characters like Rengoku who only got one movie to get familiar with. And it isn't just the characterization, I also question the durability of some of these Demon Slayers. I get they're strong, but there's a couple moments where I'm like, how is he not dead? Okay, how is he not dead? No, how is he not dead? So, I get the critique. But in my eyes, that's also just nitpicking at what Demon Slayer does wrong. When you think about it, it's been 3 seasons and a movie that's had unmatched animation and a decent story, which is way harder than you'd think. And that brings me to the recent season, Demon Slayer: The Swordsmith Village arc. The intro to the Upper Moons were insane, and that was the literal first episode of the season. Season 2 started off a bit slow before they really got into the meat of the story, but this season they just went straight for it. Although I do have another complaint so far, which is Genya wasn't really characterized in my eyes. Unless I'm forgetting something, I only remember that he was another demon slayer and was a bit angry. But I will say, episode 6 was a great introduction to his past and a last minute backstory which Demon Slayer is all too familiar with. Now this might be a hot take, but I actually like the last minute backstories that Demon Slayer does, and I think it signifies the times. In the past long-running shonen anime, there would be both filler and non-filler content that would make the episodes endless. That meant the main cast had a lot of screen time and the viewer was given many chances to get familiar with said character. And it made the character's death that much more impactful.
Why you crying? No, he's crying over Jiraiya off the internet.
But that mostly went with the times. To put it bluntly, attention spans nowadays are fucked. Which is really bad, but it led to a different pace in anime. And I've learned to appreciate both the newer animes, the older ones, and some that fit in between. But back to Demon Slayer, it does a great job of those last minute single episode backstories. It's predictable, but it's also like a light flashing before your eyes sort of vision, and I think it works well. Originally, it just made me feel compassion for most of these demons that were actually taken advantage of. And now it also serves as a sort of trick, like with Genya. The backstory made it seem like he was about to die, but he was actually saved. It also doesn't get in the way of the overarching narrative, since our main concern is Tanjiro's connection to Muzan, and we seem to actually be getting even closer to finding that out. All in all, I honestly contemplated making a Demon Slayer video for a while, because it's just that good to me. I understand that I might have missed some critiques that the anime faces and some other issues people might have, but if anything, I just want all of you watching the anime to do me a favor. And if you're not a reviewer like me, just leave the critique to us. And it's not because you can't critique it, but I want you to remember why you're watching the anime in the first place. Whether it's to escape into a new world or just spend a little of your extra time. The moral of the story is just don't be a Scrooge like me who's got to review everything. Remember to take everything in, from the animation to the story, and truly enjoy what is on your screen.